Hello, welcome to another episode of Raine B Plays The Sims 4. Today in my continued Building Newcrest series, we're at Tranquil Crescent. It's in the more upscale neighborhood in Newcrest. My favorite lot in this particular neighborhood. It's got a beautiful view. Trouble is the house didn't quite acknowledge it, but I loved the build. I found this on, it's either homeplans.net or houseplans.net. I think it's houseplans. Regardless, I didn't quite build it the way it looked or was designed. I think it's a nice build on a nice lot, and I really like the interior as well. I didn't go cuckoo. I didn't go cuckoo with colors. When I went into casts for the sim I created for this house, I had to hit the dice a couple times, and I can't remember what it was about it. I think it was his jawline that I liked. So I went in with him and I tweaked him. I changed he had that ugly bluish gray skin tone color. I'm sorry, but the improvement to that one little cast feature, it escapes me. I don't see an improvement. I just see more choices for uglier colors. Who has blue-gray skin? Just wondering. So I went in, I tweaked him, and as I was building him, the story just started building in my head. So he's an immortal. He keeps coming back as a different type of himself. He's still athletic, but he's geeky. He really wants to get into computers and science and how things work, and I don't know so much YouTube, but he's into gaming. I guess that would make him a geek. Regardless, it doesn't happen all the time, but with this particular sim, the story just came to me and kept building. And I went with it, so the interior design reflects that story. It's like a storyboard. So he has masculine features. I actually forgot to give him exercise equipment, but I remembered right before the tour today, because I built this yesterday. It's 2 bedrooms, 2 upper baths, and then a half bath on the first floor. He has a dog, very cute. My very first dog as a pet was a Malamute, so I gave him a Malamute. The design plan on the website, the back of the house was the living room, the middle was the dining area, and the front was the kitchen, and it was all open, no walls. I tried that at the start. I'm like, a kitchen at the front of the house, interesting. But it just wasn't working. And the other thing with it, too, again, with the way I think, I know it's odd, but it didn't coincide with the back outside of the house where I have the barbecue. And I always assume, is it even assumption? I don't know. But if the barbecue is at that door, then the kitchen should be right there. That's just my way of thinking. And I wasn't going to put a barbecue in the front of the house. So I switched it up and I put the kitchen in the back, dining room in the middle, living area in the front. I'm not unhappy with it. Now, one stickler with the house was the exterior. I liked the brick. I can't quite even tell you what the home plan exterior looked like. I really couldn't describe it to you. It was an odd material. So the closest thing I could come up to was that Lux panel, but I didn't want that throughout the house. It was just too much. And it did have the brick walls just standing there. Not really even a support wall, just brick walls. So I tweaked that a bit as well. It's not quite the way it was in the home plan. But I wanted the brick. And I liked the way the brick was placed, but the siding, it really threw me. It was either too heavy on one side or way too much of one color all around. And what you see in the build video is not what I eventually ended up choosing to do. But I could not use the brick for the roofing because it had that white trim on the bottom. I don't know if Cass has two choices for that type of brick. I believe it comes from Get Together, the Windenburg stuff. But there wasn't a matching top piece. So like if you use the bottom and it had the white trim around the bottom, and you go up to the second floor, the white trim appears again, which I didn't mind. It almost looked like a trim. But on the roofing, it looked stupid. So that's why I had to change things up. Too much information and very boring. Anyway, since he's an immortal, he has a few items in here that are worth a lot of money and have sentimental value. But when he came back this time, his idea was to I'm going to do this on my own. I'm not going to use any of my influence over the, millennial. So he stored a lot of what he had. He kept a little bit of money to get started. And my thinking is, with that dining table, that was his first purchase. And then he realized he wasn't quite going to make it in the modern world with his assumptions, I would guess, on what somebody in this day and age would buy. He knew it didn't look right or it looked out of place. So he ended up having to hire a decorator, which is why the house looks staged. And he went with it. He just kept it. He's like, if this is the way it's supposed to be in 2021, then I'll go with it. Because he's not quite sure of it yet. I love the doggy. So cute. Hey, speaking of the dogs, every time I've bought an animal and I filled the food thing, it's like, fill for 5 simoleons and then call them to eat. But this time, I clicked on it and it said, fill it for 40 simoleons. 40 simoleons. Do they know that I have a bigger dog in the house? Is that why it did that? Because I use the same feeder all the time. And it didn't even ask me to call him to eat. Of course, he's not a puppy either, so that might be a difference. I usually get kittens and puppies, but this time I got a dog. I didn't want to have to deal with the training and all that other stuff, so. And I don't normally, I shouldn't say that. If I were to play any of these characters, I don't know that I would get an animal. It just seems like even in reality, it's too much maintenance, too much upkeep. So I give them animals for these videos, but I don't know that I would want an animal for live play. Well, I suppose I could try it. There's yet another video idea for me. The after tour is a little chopped up. Again, I will apologize. I know it sounds like I'm making excuses, but I just want you to understand. I had to take the sinus medicine. Again, I'm really having a hard time with my sinuses. And it just really messes with me. I am so out of it. I fell asleep sitting up. It's that bad. But anyway, I went into the house and I started touring around and I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't even show them the exterior. So I did the exterior and then I went back in to show you the second floor. It's a little convoluted, but I think you get it. I'm sorry. It's nice to do things different every once in a while, though. Don't want to get boring and stayed. I liked that I put that suit of armor in the window. I gave him the falcon. I put the falcon on top of his mailbox. I hope that works. Well, I guess it doesn't matter unless I'm playing them, but I think I hit Control 9 enough times that it wouldn't be an issue with using that mailbox. But I put the falcon on top of there, and then I gave him the owl then. Very upset that that owl doesn't come in different swatches because I love him. But the purple is just a little too much. So I shrunk the owl down and I put it in his garden. I didn't go too cuckoo with color and item on the interior. I did give him a laundry this time. The blueprint showed a laundry room with a closet next to it, and I liked that idea, but it took me a while to figure out how to get it in there. I had to move their bathrooms around. I keep saying there when it's only one guy, but it's a 2-bedroom house. The smaller bedroom, I gave him like his office area. And then there's the larger bedroom, but the 2 bathrooms, I had to switch them around in order to get that laundry closet thing to work. And I like the result. And you'll probably notice that I'm in love with those beaded curtains from I think it's the Seance pack. Oh, I love them. They're gorgeous. I can't get enough. I like sparkly, shiny, gaudy, bright things. It's just who I am. I don't know. But the house itself, I like. The interior layout, I really like a lot. I like how the little half bath on the first floor is away from everything. I think that's a really good idea. I like the way I landscaped. It didn't go overboard, but I think I gave him enough to make it look pretty. I didn't do too much with his yard, but then again, I mean, what are you going to do? It's a yard. I suppose I could have put more in there, but I really didn't want to. He's starting out a brand new him in the 21st century, and I want him to figure it out as he goes along. And I'm sorry, but I just don't want to block that view. The view in the back and alongside that house is absolutely stunning. There's a pond there and then a golf course. But at nighttime, it's really pretty. And during the day, it's just lovely. So that's why I kept it like that. I hope that's okay. But other than that, there is one more thing. The doors, the entry doors. I probably should have gone with something else. But again, my thinking was, yes, this is kind of like mid-century modern. But I didn't want the doors to go retro. So I just tried something. I think I went with what I like and what I know for the doors, but I don't know that it was a good call. We'll see. Anyway, I do hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. Do hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.